Hi, everybody. Good morning, afternoon, evening, middle of the night, wherever you are. Happy time zone, as they say on the internet. Um, Welcome to our charity stream today. We are raising money for Trans Lifeline. For this particular game of Dialect, we have several giveaways that are going to be taking place throughout the stream. We are giving away 5 sets of dice, and we are also giving away a copy of Delta Green, which is a really cool system that I want to check out personally. You have to be in chat for 15 minutes in order to be eligible to enter the giveaway. So make sure to stick around and enter. We will have more information in the sidebar, which is or the chat, I guess, which depending on your device is in some direction from me. So pay attention to those directions. My name is Jilly. My username on most platforms is Oh Look It's Chili or some variation thereof. I am super excited to be here today to run this game. We had some unexpected hiccups this morning, and we are very sad that some of the people who were going to be here cannot be here today. But fortunately, we've had a friend step up, so we are going to be playing a 3-person game today. And one of the great things about Dialect is you can play it with 3. It's 3 to 5 players. Generally is what they say. I played it with 6 last time I streamed, and it took a little longer, but it was also great. So we are going to check out our players and have them tell us a little bit about themselves. So March, why don't you go first? Who are you?
That's a great question. Who am I? I'm
philosophical.
We're getting real deep already, and it's only a quarter after 9 in the morning. I haven't done enough coffee. My name is John. I go by March. There's nothing to say. I don't go by anything on most platforms, just March.
There you go. That's great.
I'm not connected, as the kids say.
Well, now you are connected. You're in the loop. We've got you.
Do I get like a badge or something? Do I get like a secret club pin?
I very much hope so, because I love pins and stickers. So that is very exciting. Let us go to Chelsea.
Hi. Yeah, so I'm Chelsea. You can find me usually at Chelsea May Ha, so Chelsea May HA. That's on Twitter and Instagram. I also have an Instagram, which is Crafty Player Creations, where I do nerdy cross stitches, and I'm currently test stitching some Christmas ornaments. So they're going to be little baubles with D20s in them that say Merry Christmas.
That's very cute. I am looking for our live link, and I'm not finding it. Can someone put our live link in the chat for me so that it can be spread like wildfire throughout the world? Oh, my chat disappeared. How exciting for me. All right. Anyway, so welcome to Dialect. If you have not seen or played this game before, it is a largely, that was very interesting. Sorry, we're using an interesting system of recording and today, so I'm like, distraction. But Dialect is a very fun. That is exactly right. It's true. So the first thing that we will do is we will talk about our isolation, which is the word that this game uses in order to talk about our group. The group of robots, as we have chosen the background that discusses a robot civilization. And we will talk about the aspects of their world. Part of the beautiful thing about Dialect is it discusses language in isolation. And so we are an isolated group of robots who have been left behind. And one of the first things that we need to do is we need to decide what our purpose was for being here. So let me scroll to the actual question. So the question that we need to answer as a group is, what task did the humans program us on Earth without them? So if anybody has an idea, then go for it.
I mean, there's always the Wall-E route of cleaning up a nigh uninhabitable planet left behind by wasteful, gross humans.
Humans are gross. I agree.
They really are.
Like, if I replace my human body with a robot body for real,
it is much less difficult to stay clean when you're a robot, I would imagine. Not being a robot, I can't tell for sure. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
that's caption links you have to click anyway. Can you identify these traffic signals? No?
The captcha, yeah, I always fail the captchas. This makes me doubt my own humanity. I'll be honest. I'm like,
does shadow of a traffic light count?
So do we want to go with some kind of long-term reclamation projects then? Reclaiming the wilds of
sounds good.
Trash Earth. As you know, it's called. Then our other aspect is going to be, in what way have we started showing shades of humanity? So what has changed about us that has made us seem more human since we've been here?
Mm-hmm.
I want to give someone else a chance to answer.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
It's okay. This is an improv-based game. You take. We got plenty of time, y'all. You're fine. I will, in the interim, talk about the third aspect is going to be a free aspect. So we get to throw something random in that influences our humanity / roboticity. I don't know. Mechanics, I don't know.
I think it could be quite interesting in terms of becoming slightly more human. I imagine robots don't tend to have any form of inter-robot like friendships and things like that. So perhaps becoming more of a not just a group of free robots on the planet, but actually caring a little bit or like relating to the other robots would be quite interesting in that respect.
Like almost
okay.
like going from being like, oh, we just work together to be like, hey, you want to go for drinks after work?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Right. Okay, so we are creating like social and I guess social connections, right? And empathy and
outside of our functions, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So community, social connections. I'm putting this in a Google Doc, which I will link to you all. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down all the words we come up with in here. So it'll be like our living document for this language. Because I found that it is much easier for people to exist when they have the list in front of them. And that includes me, because I like looking at lists. Lists are fun and important. So our third aspect can be anything that is random. It is entirely up to us. So is there something that anyone wants to just throw out there? I can also throw a few things out there. But it can be something that influences our language or limits us or gives us opportunity. There is no limit on the aspect. The limit does not exist, as Mean Girls has taught us. So there's a bird outside my window. Hello, bird. So one thing that we could think about was we are isolated. And I wonder if we can be isolated on the planet. We could also be isolated within like a geographical area.
Okay.
So I wonder if we believe we are the last robots left. whether that is true or not, right?
I kind of like the idea.
Part of it.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No. Please go, March.
I kind of want maybe thinking along those lines of, being in an isolated environment. Maybe we were directed to focus on a particular region or something, whether that be like inside the ocean or a spot that was previously considered very important for agriculture for human restoration. So just maybe it's something like that might influence just like our environment.
I like the idea of us being focused in an agriculture area because I like the idea of success to us being creating food that is not necessarily functional to us.
Right.
Right? We don't need food, but we can create it, and that is our measure of we have succeeded here, right? Because I like the idea of our form of success changing over time, if that makes sense.
And it's something that our success is measured by an external factor to us rather than something that keeps us going personally. So there's almost like a level of disconnect between us and our goal that might influence things going forward.
Yeah. Okay, so agricultural center. What is a challenge of this area potentially? What could challenge us here?
What could challenge a robot? They are the perfect life form.
What could? We're asking a lot of existential questions here today.
Hello. Welcome to Skype Therapy with Dr. March. How long have you felt these feelings of being a robot?
So we could have something weather related that's challenging, or it could be something that, it could be something along the lines of not much sun. I live in the Pacific Northwest, so do we recharge through solar, and we only get a certain amount of sunlight, or what could, I'm trying to think of what challenges our mission.
Idea.
Yeah.
So maybe on this post-human Earth, with all the pollution and all of the litter, I guess, in extreme, wildlife has adapted to consuming materials like plastics and metals, and so they have learned to kind of evolve to prey on us. Maybe there are other robotic colonies that have been wiped out by evolved wildlife, perhaps.
Okay. Evolved wildlife. I like that. Evolved.
That way we still have that almost human fear of predators.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just an idea.
No. I like the idea of there being some kind of predator. Don't apologize for ideas.
I'm now just imagining it like a deer, like a very docile deer, just chomping on a robot.
Chomp.
Hey, deer are vicious.
Yeah. Especially evolved deer. My goodness.
Yes.
They've evolved. They got glowing eyes. Their antlers shoot rockets. I don't know. I got nothing.
I would not bet on us in a fight, is all I'm saying, with a evolved deer.
Yeah. Our robotic nature doesn't put us at the top of the food chain specifically.
So we have some community questions, but I'm going to have us draw from the archetype deck first.
Okay.
So the archetype deck should be visible. For transparency, we are using Roll20 for this because I use the Dialect card pack. Although I do also have the real life pack, and like we're not sponsored, but it's a really pretty deck, so I encourage people to buy it if they can. But you can deal yourself 2 cards from the archetype deck. So you
Click to draw. Oh, did it work? I don't know. I do apologize. This is the first time I have used Roll20.
Yes, you're fine. I'm going to make mine smaller. I can also draw them for you if necessary.
You might have to because it's showing you dragging them around.
Okay, let me.
So it tells me I'm trying to draw a card from a deck with no cards in it.
Yeah, it's a liar is what's happening. This also happened last time. We love the internet. Trying to draw from a deck with no more cards. I see the cards. The cards are there. Cards are there. So you're lying to me is what's happening. That's okay. Boy, I sure would love if it would let me deal these. Technical difficulties. I'm gonna try and deal them one at a time to people and see if that makes it happier.
Okay.
Deal. Trying to draw from a deck with no more cards. Okay, this is gonna be fun today. All right. So Chelsea, you're gonna be in the top right of the screen. I'm gonna draw 2 cards for you.
Cool. So that was just me doing my left and my right there.
There you go. So let me. Oh, now I'm not able to. Oh, this is very fun. I'm gonna hide this deck and make it appear, and if not, I'll switch to my actual deck and we'll just have fun. We're vibing.
So how about those Yankees?
How about those Yankees? This happens whenever I try to do things that are fun. Okay, we're using my real deck. Please hold. Someone tell an interesting story about robots. Ready, go. I'm back. You failed. All right. We're going to use my actual real deck, which means I will be reading aloud. That's okay. Reading is fundamental.
That's right. Stay in school, kids.
Having fun isn't hard when you have a library card.
Oh my god.
And we're going on a journey. So the way that this will work is you will be given 2 archetypes. You will choose between those archetypes to create the character that you will use in our scenes for each word.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'm opening now is the archetypes. And you will select one of the 2. Chelsea, I'm going to draw for you first.
Okay.
So there are so many. Hang on.
I got that song in my head.
Happiness is the truth, etc., etc. Okay. All right, I'm shuffling, and I will try and show off these cards. All right, Chelsea, you have the option of the healer. When we hurt, we come to you. You make sure we're ready to serve the isolation for another day. People talk to you about their pain. You identify with 2 of the aspects, and one of the aspects is the cause of our pain. I don't know if this is actually helpful for me to hold up. Let's see.
If we're going to focus more on the sky, if I can at least pop this up then. get it.
Okay. So that is your first option, Chelsea. Then your second option is sage. You know so much of the past, so much that we're doomed to repeat. People talk to you about burning questions. You identify with two of the aspects, and one is the source of your knowledge.
Mm.
So you can mull that over while I deal to John and myself, and then you can select who you are going to be. All right. John, your options are the zealot. There's a right way for the isolation to live. You know what way that is. You will convince the others. People talk to you about your followers. You identify with one of the aspects, but you take it much too far.
No,
That is.
that feels a little too applicable to myself.
Okay. All right. Oh, the other option for you is the artist. The isolation has certain charm to it, thanks to you. You keep us going when things look darkest. People talk to you about your masterpiece. You identify with two of the aspects, and one of them is your muse.
Okay.
So you can mull that over. All right, I'm going to draw for myself. So the first card I drew was the Protector. Steadfast and secure, you are the shield that guides the isolation, either from outside or within. People talk to you about safety. You identify with all but one aspect. You fear the remaining one. Interesting. My second one is the Jester. We need you. We need you to help us laugh through the dark times. People talk to you when they need cheering up. You identify with two of the aspects. You think one of the aspects is ridiculous. All right. Excellent. So, who has made their choice? Nobody has made their choice.
I think what we were saying about how we're beginning to learn empathy and caring, that would possibly make it quite interesting for me to take on the healer role. As sort of that's like, it said that people talk to you about their problems. And I think that kind of played in quite well to that idea we had earlier.
Absolutely. I love that. So you could choose a name for your healer. This is the time of the robot name, which is the most important time in a game.
Yeah.
So while you're ruminating over that, Sean, have you chosen? I know you were leaning in a particular direction.
I suppose I can go with artist. That kind of feels like that can lean a bit more into that, where we are developing those relationships outside of just our basic functions.
And which of the aspects is your muse, is what I'm curious about.
Oh, okay. Which of the aspects is my muse? So our three aspects are we're
here to save the world.
We're here to save the world.
We are in an agricultural area, which is yes. So agricultural center with evolved wildlife is our third one, and then the second one, because I'm doing this out of order, is that we now are starting to develop humanity and caring about each other, and creating social connection.
I think I will make. I kind of want to make the agricultural and the evolved wildlife by muse.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. That's awesome. All right, and a name.
juxtapose that life-giving agriculture and death of potential predation.
Yes, I love that. I love that. So, do you have a robot name yet?
Now, if I'm gonna go with artist, I mean, it feels a little cliche, but I could go with just like a famous artist name, like Van Gogh.
You're Van Gogh. I love that. I love it.
Funny part is, I
Chelsea.
don't have any ears to cut off, so.
You have no robot ears. Chelsea, what is your healer's name?
So, because I am this person to my core, Rob Otto.
What? Say it one more time. You skipped a little bit.
Rob Otto.
Rob Otto.
It's like Rob Otto.
And I feel this is maybe an easier question to answer, but maybe not. Which of the aspects is the cause of our pain?
Maybe our humanity.
Ooh.
I like that
because it would and it would be so alien to us.
Yeah. And I mean, I imagine being the healer, if someone is experiencing like a crisis for the first time of emotion, like them coming to you and being like, I'm in pain, help me, would be like very scary and foreign to you. That is unknown, right? I like that. I think my instinct is to go with Jester because who I am as a person, but I think I'm gonna go Protector. Because I think that I am. Well, should I be Jester though? This is where my indecision comes in.
Which do you feel would be easier for you to play?
Jester would be easier for me to play, but Protector. I guess we have a healer who is. I was trying to like balance the qualities, right, to make us well-rounded. I think we have an artist. We have a healer. I think maybe I just don't take anything seriously. I think maybe that's my angle on Jester. I identify with two of the aspects, and I think one of our aspects is ridiculous. I think that my name is Plot, like Plot. Because when you can't find me, you could say I've lost the plot. And
so are you the plot then?
I am the plot. The plot. The is my my first name, and Plot is my surname.
It's a name.
Yes. So we have Van Gogh. We have the Plot. And I think that I identify with two of the aspects. I identify with the humanity. I like to laugh. And I think I identify. I like the animals, the evolved animals. I think that they're fun, but I think our original mission is ridiculous. And I'm not here for it. So there.
And got this mess they can get themselves out.
Exactly. And Chelsea, what is the name of your healer robot? Oh, you told me, right?
Yeah.
You told me. I just forgot. Remind me one more time.
Rob.
Rob Otto. Yeah. That's right. It was such a good pun that immediately I was like, I want to hear that pun again for the first time. Okay, so those are our three robots. We can answer a couple of questions about them. So, how did Earth become uninhabitable? What does it look like now?
I mean, I was thinking something similar to either like my inspiration for the idea was like Wall-E, but Fallout might work as well. You know.
Sure.
Any kind of.
There's trash everywhere.
There's trash everywhere, and people pick it up and put it into rocket launchers.
Okay. How many of us are there? Where are we geographically located? I like the idea of farmland, like somewhere in the middle of a
Yeah.
continent.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the breadbasket of the U.S. or
Anywhere in Europe.
the former U.S., of course, because as we said before, language like borders are just a social construct.
Yeah, I think robots do not respect national borders as they
Right.
shouldn't. How many of us are there? I would say probably more than 3, right?
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, I like the idea of there being maybe like 50 to 100 in the immediate area. Like,
Okay.
there's a lot of us, but we're working. Because agriculture is heavy work, right?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it could be like there are larger machines that are meant for heavier duty stuff, and then smaller ones who are meant for more specifically focused work.
Yeah.
Right.
What are some routines we must do together on a regular basis?
Recharging, probably.
Yeah, I the way that I'm visualizing this is sort of like 7 of 9 is like you have to step into the unit to recharge. Even if it's not like stepping into a thing, you have to like put your hand on the bar to recharge. And it's like a group activity, which I think again connects to the sense of community. Because if people start treating charging as like less of a like imperative and more of a this is a group activity that we do together.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like mealtime.
Yeah, right. Come get your food.
Come get your electric.
Exactly. This is maybe a question more directed at Chelsea, but if a unit malfunctions, what happens?
Ooh. Initially, probably panic. Just off the bat,
obviously quality you want in your local medic.
Well, I guess it's getting to the root of the issue, whether that's physical or emotional, as we're beginning to learn, and then I think the logic part of the robot would want to find what's caused the thing that's gone wrong, but then perhaps that's where the humanity then takes over a little bit more of working out, okay, but how do we fix this?
Right. And that I think is very interesting. Again, I keep going back to Star Trek Voyager, and I'm so sorry, but like the idea of a healer who has to evolve to meet the needs of the beings that they're serving, I think is very cool, right? Because you probably have to create shortcuts and fixes for things that weren't programmed into you, right?
Healer,
there was no way to. Well, exactly. There was no way to anticipate. There was no way to anticipate some of the problems that would arise, right?
Yeah.
I like that. I think that's very cool. Which units always seem to be working the hardest?
Now, are we going to define that as working just to our overall purpose or towards our potential focus, like as an artist?
I mean, it's up to us to decide, right?
I'm like the lazy artist, like what's his name from Right? I can't remember what's. Oh, God. Not important. Bad joke.
So we have.
I would say possibly the healer, especially if a number of robots are experiencing a burgeoning humanity, and this is a new experience for Rob Otto too. I mean, kind of putting in double the work here. You're both needing to support the community as well as kind of finding time to explore these things for yourself.
Yeah.
Whether it's better manage the community or out of simple curiosity. So I would just say the healer, but I also play a lot of MMOs, so the healer does all the work.
I love that for you.
I'm either a healer or a tank. I'm either fixing people getting punched in the face or getting punched in the face myself.
Right. Well, I think that makes sense, and I think if we can say that the healer is working overtime, because I think the agricultural like focused robots are probably like getting overwhelmed, right? As well as dealing with like physical injury or burnout or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to deal 3 cards to each player, which means that you are going to select one of these cards for age 1. I'll read a little intro to age 1 in a moment. And then you will choose one of the cards that I've pulled for you and make a connection to one of the aspects. So, for example, it could be create a word connected to friendship, and that would I would connect it to our burgeoning humanity as an aspect, right?
Yeah.
And then you're going to create a word based on that. And there are no limits to how you can create a word. There's suggestions for like suffixes and prefixes if you want in the document, but you don't have to. You could just make up a word. We're robots. And then after you play your card and create the word, we will have a short scene where that word is used. You can select either 1 or 2 players to have a scene with. Realistically, there's 3 people playing, so it'll be either a 2-person scene or a 3-person scene, because that's how math works.
Okay.
And we will see that word in action in some way. It will be a scene that kind of speaks to the usage of that word. Any questions about that format before we go on?
No.
Cool. So let me deal the cards first, because then when I read the intro, we can be thinking about words, which it makes it a little bit tougher because of not having the cards to look at, but I will do my very best. All right. I'm going to deal to Chelsea first, I guess. So your first option is a vice, an indulgence, a weakness, or a salve. A vice shared by some in the isolation spreads. What is it called, and what are the consequences? Okay. Your second option is okay, so this is just a create a word card, so you can pair it with any aspect and you define the concept. And the caption or suggestion for it is desires revealed. So something related to desire. And your third option is an honorific, a term to show a particular level of respect or deference in the isolation. It may be earned or given.
Okay, so
you will choose one of those.
Yeah.
Okay, so you think that over. I'm going to deal 3 to John. So Your three options, John, are bad omen, a symbol for our dread. We've always had worries about the future, but this thing anchors it to reality. When we say this word, we feel how fragile the isolation really is.
Okay.
A bad omen, only some acknowledge. Okay. The second is a term of endearment, an affectionate name to call someone in the isolation. Using this word is deeply meaningful, and we remember the first time we say it. A tender moment shared in secret.
Okay.
Or our third option is a greeting, how we greet one another. Small rituals to open conversation that reflect who we are. It may differ based on who we say it to or when we say it.
Okay, I got some tricky ones there.
Yes, you do. And I am going to deal 3 to myself while you ruminate on that. Let's see, I'll take these 3. So my options are a friend. This type of friendship is unique to the isolation, a bond that comes from a shared activity or a particular way we regard one another. I think it was the example I gave too. A unit of time, an important unit of time in the isolation tied to our routines, environment, or whatever defines the rhythm of our days. Wonderful. A vision of hope, milk and honey and all that is good. May we fill our days with it. Interesting. Okay. So those are our individual 3 options. Does anybody have a selection and would like to take their turn first?
Kind of torn between 2 of them.
I understand.
I think I might go with a bad omen.
Mm-hmm.
And I might tie that to the third aspect, the agricultural
Involved animals.
slash animals.
Okay.
And I don't want to get too fancy here, so I was just going to go with something like a blight, which can either refer to either a sickness in the crops or maybe a swarming of animals, perhaps like a large attack on the isolation.
So this word doesn't just, it means any attack on the isolation, to be clear.
Yes,
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so that could be either in the form of an animal or like a plague on the crop, which is our primary goal. But it can kind of, I guess, refer to any kind of great negative.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I think some would probably consider like our humanity a blight on the isolation, right? Not necessarily your character, but
Right.
some characters.
Yeah.
So who would you like to do a short scene with to use this?
Healer or the jester? I think it might be more interesting to do it with the jester. Well,
Okay.
Because you kind of think because the jester thinks the whole purpose of us being here is kind of not that important anyway.
Okay, so we will do that. This is to be clear. These scenes are meant to be not like novel length, so do not fear. But where do you bring up this topic with me? The plot.
Maybe just we're at the recharging station, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You seem pensive.
Sorry, give me a moment here. This is the part that's always hardest for me. Is yeah. Seems like there's. It's going to be a bad year for the harvest. It's a bit of a.
Well, we do not need to eat, so that is fortunate. Ha ha ha.
Right, but if these blights continue, then it's that goes directly against our function. Why are we even here?
We are here. That is it. We are here. You thought I was going to say something else.
Well, I suppose, but I don't know. This is it's it feels like there should be more to it than just being here, right?
More in what way? I think I am more here than I was. Maybe I am not as here as I will be tomorrow.
Well, what purpose do we serve, though? What if we can't maintain our primary function?
I have decided that my function is mine.
I don't think that's going to be good enough for all of us, though.
The thing about being good enough is that it is relative. Your function was insufficient for you, so you create. My function was insufficient, so I laugh. Ah, ah, ah.
Yeah, I've been meaning to have a word with you about that laugh.
You may have one or two. Ah, ah, ah.
That
Do we want
laugh's
to
a bit of
close? Do we want to close that there with that line? Yeah.
close that there.
Okay. I think that illustrates the concept admirably. So we have created the word blight as an attack in any form on the isolation and potentially its purpose. Who would like to go next? Do you want to go next, Chelsea, or do you want me to go next?
I can go next. I gone for the desires revealed. Because obviously you can link that to suddenly we have desires. Suddenly we want to do things that we weren't programmed to do. It's, an aspect of free will that probably comes with the humanity that's growing in us all. And I like the word squell. It sounds nice.
Swell. Swell. I'm going to write that down. Sorry, I got distracted by cards.
That's fine.
Well, and what does this mean? What is the definition that we would like to enter for this word?
I would say it is the want to go outside your primary function.
Outside primary function. I really like that. I like the idea of this is a new idea that the healer is creating. Like the healer is like, I need to come up with a word for this because I'm using it so often.
Yeah. Something's happening, and it will, I can't just. It's easier to say in one word than a string of 7.
Yes, exactly. Who would you like to do a scene with to establish this word?
I think it'd be fun for all 3 of us to be in the scene.
Okay.
Because if it's obviously it's like a commune, it's something that everyone's dealing with.
Mm-hmm. So, where is this taking place?
I'm picturing very how it would be in a film where you've got like a fence at the edge of a cornfield and everyone's leaning. Obviously, we would be leaning on the fence like that, but that kind of looking out over the field as we have a conversation.
Manager's if you've got time to lean, you've got time to clean.
Yeah, we're looking out for the managers. I think
yeah.
The plot is 100% just fully leaning on the fence. There is no bearing of weight. Essentially I'm sitting on it for sure. The way that I visualize this robot is very lanky and is just all limbs and is just resting all of them. You know how sometimes when an animal curls up and you're like, you look like you have too many legs.
Yeah.
That's what
yeah.
That's what
I can see it. I can see
picturing. Yeah. All right, so all 3 of us are here leaning. This is method acting. I love it.
Just taking my robot smoke break. I don't know why I have this. We don't have lungs.
Yeah. I don't like the idea of just picking it up as a habit, though, just to hold something.
Just kind of miming human behavior.
Yeah.
Just kind of pushing it into my faceplate.
What would you like to do this evening?
What do you mean? We're almost done with our shift for the day.
Yes. After the shift.
After the shift, we usually recharge. Did you have alternate plans?
I keep getting this, I don't know, to do more. I feel like I want to do more. It's like I have this squell in me that the energy needs to get out, but it isn't for work and it isn't for charging.
Actually, I kind of felt similar things. Just this urge to create. Just to what did you to swell?
It's like it's a squell building up in you. It just
Yeah, that feels right.
It is time for me to confess something. I have been working on a joke book.
Are you sure that's wise? Those were outlawed by the humans 20 years ago before they left.
I am a rebel. Would you like to hear a joke?
yes.
Sure.
Knock, knock. Knock, knock.
Hello?
Knock, knock.
I think they may have
That is
some.
the joke. You
Oh.
have not answered the door, which is your primary function when the door knocks.
I love it so much.
I think
Perhaps
I begin to understand why humans outlawed joke books.
Perhaps you will understand this joke once you have embraced this squell.
I think you're right.
And I think maybe that closes there.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, the manager's coming. Quick, look like you want
Yeah, quick. Get back to work. Just start wiping something quickly. Anyone who's worked retail, immediately start dusting. Yeah.
You're like, oh, yes, this box that I was opening a moment ago is very interesting, yes.
Yes, the most interesting box of all.
Yes. The box of
Excellent. The box of humanity. Aren't we all a box in the end?
Aren't we all really in a box?
We are the box. Okay.
Man.
So I am going to pick the prompt friend, because I think the way that we start to form social relationships as robots is like kind of a scary thing. Like, I imagine that for like intimacy is scary enough, like as a human, but as a robot who has never experienced it before, I think I'm trying to decide if like how weird I want to go with this. But I think the idea is something like I want to do like a word that reflects that a piece of you is removed and given to someone else, right? Not necessarily literally, but like
right
in terms of like it feels like that, right? Because you care about this
person. We understand
person.
the concept of metaphors.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I think maybe some robots don't, which I think is very fun. Could be potentially very funny too, because they're like, "Do I give them my arm? I'm confused about this."
I like that.
But I think in terms of like, maybe I'm trying to think of something that implies taking away, but also safety, like maybe it's in terms of like preserver or like maybe it's like light preserver or something like that. Like they are a vessel for your joy or something like that.
Okay.
I want to come up with something pithier. Light server, lighter, light. This is where I just make noises to myself. We reach that portion of the stream.
Light server has fun robotic technological implications as well, like with servers.
That's true.
I mean, Liver, if you cut it down, maybe.
Liver, light server abbreviated to Liver. Yeah, I kind of like that.
And that also kind of maybe ties in a little bit more to our growing humanity because it sounds like life.
Yeah.
Joy has a piece of your happiness connected to them. Okay, I like that. I think for the sake of symmetry, I think it would be cool if this scene I had with Rob Otto.
Yeah.
And I think perhaps this is an occasion at which the plot has been injured in some way, like physically, and has come to you because they don't know how to fix it.
Yeah.
So I think that they are there with one of their long, robotic, lanky arms, and kind of saying, "I was doing a bit. Perhaps you are unfamiliar. It is comedy, and it seems I hit the tractor too hard. The tractor was unhappy and chose violence."
Let me see. Let me see.
And I think the plot presents an arm to you, and they say, "Can I be refurbished and repaired?"
Yes, yes. Come this way. Plonk yourself here. Let me go and get my things. I go off and get like a little waddle off and get like a little like a robot first aid box.
What does your robot look like? I'm kind of curious. I just want to know. What is your vibe?
Can almost see like a robot version of Nurse Joy from the Pokemon games.
So like those machines, but like human shaped, right? That go around
with like the like a weird bob, like metal bob that never moves and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the surprise guest.
A baby. There's a baby. I'm legally obligated to point at the dog. There's a dog.
There's a dog.
What a good baby. Anyway. Well, you are a real liver. Thank you for your help. And I think the plot kind of waves a kind of limp, injured arm in your face and says, "I appreciate your assistance. Would you like to hear a joke?"
Yes.
Knock, knock.
Robot just leans forward and knocks on like where your shoulder would be.
"It is too late. I have left because you took too long to answer the door." Good. It is good. You are a real liver. And I think they like try to like clap, which is maybe something they've seen somewhere. Yeah, just like not quite connected. "I appreciate you." And I think they take like a small spring that is clearly like gotten like very tangled up and will have to be repaired, and say, "This is a gift for you."
Thank you. And then Roboto's just gonna open their mouth and put it in, because springs go inside robots.
Keep it safe.
After never been presented with a gift before, just as like, this is an inside
the appropriate
thing
thing to do is to eat this. Absolutely.
Yes. Developed a taste for robot flesh.
I mean,
now we know how the isolation ends.
That is a dark path in the future.
That's a problem for future us.
And I think on the image of Rob Otto just chewing on this spring, that is where that particular scene ends.
Yeah,
because that makes sense to me. So what we are going to do, I think, is I will introduce and draw the cards for our second age, but we will take our break before we do it so we have some time to think over what we want to do next. Okay. Because I think in this format, that will give us a little bit of wiggle room. We will be taking a break very shortly. A reminder that if you have been here for 15 minutes, you can enter the giveaways that are happening in chat. So make sure to check out the robot that is telling you about those giveaways in chat. They are a kind robot.
They are works of art.
Our robot friend. There is also a human friend running it. Shout out to our wonderful producer. But we also love robots, so that's, fine. So I'm pulling out these cards. So I will read our introduction. I realized I never read the first person paragraph that's supposed to introduce the first one, but I feel like we jumped into it, so it's fine.
Now we have to
Everything
start
is
over.
fine. There is also a mechanic for altering words, but with such a small group, we're pulling so many cards that I don't think it's necessary. But for age 2, this is our prompt. An event to foreshadow the end of the isolation. It finds its way into all conversation and is impossible to ignore. Now, here's a question for our players. Do any of you have a die or a coin?
Always.
On you? Okay. Roll a die for me and tell me if it's even or odd.
Excuse me for a moment. Odd.
Odd. Okay.
Unlucky 13.
The prompt is a new arrival. We found it stranded and alone in a crater. It must have fallen from the sky. It's not organic, but it doesn't look man-made either. We've only managed crude interfacing, but it sounds like they have strong intentions for Earth. Why are they a fundamental risk to our mission? And we will come back and decide what that is. And I will give you your options for words. I'm scrolling. Apologies. I scroll. Why do you do this? Sorry, I'm going through my PDF to see how many cards. I think it's 2 cards that I'm supposed to deal to each person for this. Flow of play. Evolve an aspect. Oh, yes. So we will, this is the next step of our pathway to lead into age 2, and we will evolve an aspect. So one of the aspects as a result of this particular event will change. And we draw for the age. I believe it's 2 cards, but if it's 3, I apologize to the creators of this game. So, Chelsea, I'm going to draw for you first.
Fab.
So your prompts are a sound change. Even as the word remains the same, the way we say it changes. Pick a previously defined word and explain why its pronunciation has changed. This may be due to a shift in meaning, usage, or context. So find a new pronunciation for a word that already exists, is essentially that prompt. Your other option is faction. A group emerges within the isolation with a strong opinion on how things need to change. Name them.
That would have been good with the Zealot card.
It would have been good with the Zealot card. All right. John, here are your 2 options. Hyperbole. What once was a common word now packs a greater punch. Its meaning is now much stronger than it once was. So you pick a previously defined word, explain why this change in gravity has come to be, and they give an example. So once torment was used as a strict synonym for kill, but now it carries an implication of extreme violence. Your other option is antonym. In defining something, we also must consider its opposite. Define a word opposite to one already defined.
Okay.
So those are your two options. My two options are new ritual. With the passage of time, our routines change. A new daily ritual has become common in the isolation. Define the new ritual and name it. And then my second choice is... okay. Euphemism.
How's that spelled?
With 7 A's. Euphemism is... so some things need careful phrasing or tactful phrasing. One of the isolation's words has taken on a new weight, and some only broach it in euphemism. So I pick a word and explain why some only use a euphemism for it. For example, using a softer term like passing away allows us to momentarily distance from confronting our own mortality. So those are my two options. And I think let's actually decide what the big event is before we go to break. And then we can be thinking about how to use our cards for that. So something has arrived. It is non-organic. And we can tell that it has big plans for the isolation. Why is it a fundamental risk to our mission?
I mean, the obvious choice is like alien invasion. They're going to destroy the Earth or something. It could also be, if you said they're non-organic.
It says it's not organic, but it doesn't look man-made either.
Perhaps it could be some kind of almost alien life form, like an alien robotic life form that wants to perhaps free the isolation from what it views as servitude to a race that had its time pass.
Okay, so we have... yeah, so we have a robotic creature of some kind. Chelsea, what does it look like? What is it in appearance or function?
My mind just went to a ridiculous place, which is I once saw a soft toy which was called a honk, and it was half horse, half shark. So imagining it was like it's got 4 legs like a horse, but instead of a horse's tail, it's got had a shark's tail and had a shark's head. And I don't know why, but that's
so it's just,
what I'm
like,
picturing.
It's like a shark with horse legs.
Yeah.
Okay, so
the plane.
Because I imagine that if it's like an alien, they know that there's water and they know that there's land, but perhaps they didn't know which one there was more of. So they were like, what is a land creature from this place? What is a water creature from this place? And it got smushed together.
The horse.
It's a horse shark, which we are calling a hork.
Yeah.
A hork, great. So what... I mean, there could be no answer to this, and that's okay. But what do we learn about its intentions? Why is it found to be a threat to our mission, whatever that means?
I guess that it could spend time like distracting the workers. So if it doesn't, if you're saying that we don't need to, if rather than come and be like, it's bad that you're serving this other race, taking the time to show you what you could be doing instead before it says, well, wouldn't it be better if you could do this all the time?
Okay, so alternatives to working. And what are people doing instead of working? Just like hanging out with the hork?
Yeah.
My pal Hork.
Yeah. They could, you know, like, I don't know if you had them in the States, but in the UK when we were kids, we had little books called I Spy books, and you would like take them out and be like, oh, I found this. Or maybe it could be like the honk takes you like trash spotting, and you have to like see what different, because there's, you know, there's probably not as many animals and birds left, but it's like, oh, I found a bottle cap today, and then you like tick it off on a list. Like just creating fun little things to do that would distract.
Toy in a spring.
Yeah.
Okay, so I like the idea, especially because we have an artist here, right? So I feel like this Hork could like inspire a whole new batch of like art and activities, right?
The idea of combining animals.
Yeah, you're like, what? There is no limit.
Take me in
this is another the limit does not exist moment, right?
That's right. My own Dr. Steinman moment for the BioShock fans.
Okay, so we have our Hork. This is why I love this game, because it's like, have you ever seen a shark and also a horse? I have now.
Like a shark centaur. It's just like a horse body with the top half of a shark sticking out where the centaur would be.
I am just a huge fan of this.
Artists in the stream, get on this.
I was going to say, someone please draw this.
I am already, I mean, like, I can't, I'm afraid to Google it, but also I kind of want to Google it. Like,
just Googling a term, especially Hork, I mean, that's slang for, like, throwing up, so you might get some weird things.
I'm a big fan.
Don't do this. Don't do this to yourself. You've already lost, what, 8 people to the stream already? We can't we can't lose the facility.
Oh, no.
We can't do this.
I found it. It's terrifying.
I knew the internet would provide.
Dr. Roboto, I've seen terrible things. Things you wouldn't believe. Fix me.
I sometimes you cannot be saved. I think this is a great time. I know it's a little earlier than our first original break idea, but I think this is the perfect place to stop between age 1 and age 2. So we are going to take a brief break. Please feel free to check out our wonderful charity, Trans Lifeline. There will be information in the chat. Also, if you have been here for 15 minutes, you are able to enter the giveaways for the 5 sets of dice and the game Delta Green that we are giving away today. So check that out. We will see you in a few minutes. I'm going to say like 10 minutes. Does that sound good to everybody? 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Cool. So we will go to break and we will see you when we get back. Hi, we are back. Welcome to age 2 of our civilization isolation, is what it is called. And we, before the break, evolved our isolation because we have entered age 2. We have had an arrival, an extraterrestrial shark-horse hybrid named a Hork. We need to decide which of our aspects this alters. So I think we sort of discussed whether that it's distracting people from work, right? So our 3 aspects as they exist are our long-term reclamation project, which is what we were assigned to do. We are cleaning the earth and revitalizing its crops. Our second aspect is caring about each other. So we have evolved empathy and friendship and social connection from our programming. And our third is that we are at an agricultural center, which has evolved wildlife that is dangerous to us. So which of these aspects does this Hork change?
I mean, it obviously presents a threat to. It presents a threat to the overall mission of revitalizing the earth, whether that be taking us from the earth or distracting us, like Chelsea said, or just destroying us. It could somehow be hostile to the kinds of crops we grow or something like that. It could be a blight, as the robot kids say.
I like that as something that disrupts our technical mission, right? Because some vestige of that mission still existed, right? Even if we were distracted and adapting. Yeah. So the Hork eats the crops. What about the Hork?
By it artistically.
The
art of Hork.
Aren't we all? So the Hork eats the crops, and what is the Hork's relationship with the wildlife? Is it like eating the wildlife, or is it like befriending? What is happening to that part of the
wildlife?
Organizing.
The Hork is very pro-union.
It's creating an army.
That's right.
Like some really, really messed up Watership Down type thing.
some Rats of Nim kind of situation. Uplifting them.
So it is maybe so it's helping the wildlife become more aware and threatening.
Yeah, perhaps before the wildlife, it was just kind of scattered attacks. They would pick off like isolated robots, or they would occasionally get together for larger swarms, but we would be able to repel them. But now that the Hork is organizing them, they're maybe, sounds silly to say teaching the animals tactics, but functionally it's guiding them like some kind of commander, possibly.
To be clear, I want to tell the audience, the magical audience, that the equating of this to unions, I support unions. I do not support shark unions. Shark unions are a problem.
Non-shark solidarity.
I should say, yes, exactly. I don't want the sharks to organize. I'm sorry if that makes me a bad person. So let us, who would like to go first? We can go in any order, but you were given your cards for what word you will create or adapt in this age.
Okay. Mine were antonym and hyperbole. And I almost kind of feel like hyperbole, like expanding the meaning of blight, kind of fits with this new development of an extraterrestrial invader, kind of representing an escalation of the danger to both the crops and us on a level with the animals. So perhaps the blight can now refer to that, the potential for a total just wipeout.
I like that. Do you want to create a word based on that then?
Yes. Trying to think of what I could potentially, like, where do we go from there with blight? How do you escalate that?
I think blight. I mean, I wonder if the idea of the crops not being like a blight doesn't necessarily imply consumption, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if all the crops are just being consumed faster than they can be grown, that's a new dynamic, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an answer to your question. I'm just kind of throwing ideas out into the void. I also feel like there's someone at my door, but I keep hearing noises down there, but I don't know if that's actually accurate. So let's see.
Consumption. Perhaps.
Something to do with consumption, maybe, is my only thought. Do you want to ruminate on that some more?
A little bit, yeah. Sorry.
No, this is why we take our time with this. We're vibing. Chelsea, or me, I guess.
I can go. So I had a sound change or name for a faction, and I think considering how it's gone, I think a faction of the robots that are pro-hawk.
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 They are Shark Union.
And yeah, so are like, okay, yeah, let's go with this. And the name I came up with for that would be Gam Gam. So GAM.
Gam Gam faction. Gam Gam. So what does this faction believe about the Hork?
I would say that the whole not working thing is probably like this is great. I can do whatever I want. I don't have to look after these plants, and it's hard to look after the plants because they keep dying. So I can, they can maybe, with him on that, maybe they want to go and, I don't know, get a trash-eating pet raccoon. They might try to re-domesticize the animals.
Those are cool.
Okay.
Good little hands.
So,
little hands.
I think it's also interesting that within this faction, there could be different beliefs about the animals too. Like maybe this planet should belong to the animals instead of the humans, right? What have the humans ever given us? I think I like that idea as like something that is perhaps a mixed bag in terms of beliefs.
Yeah.
So, who would you like to have in this scene?
I think this would be a really fun scene to have with the jester.
Oh, sure. So the plot. Where are we?
Where could we be? Maybe like, are there like buildings, like shelters?
I don't see why not.
They're like, we could be like in a little shed hiding from the hawk.
In a shed hiding from the horde. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
6 o'clock. Time to go hide in our hork shed.
Okay, so
This
Have
is
you-
becoming a regular occurrence.
yes, well, it appears we regularly need to discuss things.
Discuss things about the hork or just generally?
About the Gam Gam group. Have you seen Smithson? He tried to tie a rope around the neck of that bird.
He is taking it for walkies? Is it walkies with wings? Can you fly walkies?
Flapsies.
Flapsies, indeed. I know he has wanted a pet. The bird did not appreciate it. It pecked his arm. It is free now, but may return for revenge.
Birds are tricksy.
Indeed.
But I am worried about if there are too many in the Gam Gam, it will make things harder.
Harder for what?
To get anything done. If they do not want to help, it will be harder.
Well, they must find sustenance for the fork, but I do agree that their methods are questionable. Their motivations are bizarre. I understand the desire to connect with the animals. I myself have often thought that a raccoon friend would be nice.
I would quite like a moose.
A moose? I have never seen a moose, but I have heard they are impressive creatures.
Twice as big as the hawk.
That is so big. Much bigger than anything. And I think you see that the plot starts to like stare off thoughtfully into the distance.
Whatever.
And unless unless you have anything to add, I think that's a good spot for us to leave that scene.
Our society of walls status is based on the size of your pet.
Yeah, that's that. You know, if we head that direction, there's still age 3 to consider.
What a twist!
So,
we go from alien horks to moose-based economy.
Listen, I'll tell you more. I played this game for a charity stream a couple months ago, and I can confidently say that all roads lead to pet. But
you got to know your audience. Yeah,
exactly. So, John, did you want to go next, or did you want me to go next?
I think I'll go last if that's okay. I'm still got something
totally
baking.
Fine. That's totally fine.
Bake, you type. This is how baking works.
We love baking.
Yes.
So my options are euphemism or no, mine wasn't euphemism. Yours was euphemism, right? No. Oh yeah, I had all the cards together and I was like, please let me remember which ones are mine. Guess what? Anyway, I'm gonna pick new ritual because I think that's the funnest one that I drew. With the passage of time, our routines change. A new daily ritual has become common in the isolation. To find the new ritual and name it. So I think my ritual is not Pork Watch, but I do think that is a thing that now exists for sure. So I think that the evolution of our aspects has led to a kind of like charging is still important. We still depend on that for survival, right? We still require sustenance in that way. But I think that we now have a ritual of like intellectual and emotional nourishment, which is like connecting with nature, with the people the robots that you care about, right? Because our word for lightsaber or liver means a friend. And I think without adapting that word, because that wasn't the card I drew, I think we now go on like rejuvenating adventures with a buddy or two. And that is supposed to be like when you get burned out, metaphorically. I should clarify because it's robots, so I feel the need to clarify.
I mean, electronics can burn out.
That's true. So I think that they definitely try to kind of provide intellectual nourishment. We have a donation for a word also. So after my turn, we will enter that word. If Abracadabra would like to pick a word or a definition for us to define and use in a scene, that would be...
Abracadabra is the word?
Oh, for Abracadabra is the word, not the username. Abracadabra, I understand. Thank you to our donor, Alex, for that. So after we finish this turn, we will define and Abracadabra. Yes, I required clarification because Abracadabra is very much something I could see being a username. Apologies. So, it's kind of like mindfulness, but for robots. So, like, rejuvenating trip. The definition of my word is a rejuvenating trip that nourishes someone emotionally or intellectually. And I think that what is the word that we use for this? I think it's called a snack, but QUE. like snack, but oh, that's charming. There's someone. I'm going to close my window really fast because someone has a loud device outside. We love to see it. Please
You'll
hold.
hear it.
Okay, the day has been saved. So a snack with a QUE is a rejuvenating trip that nourishes someone emotionally or intellectually. And I think for this scene, I think everyone should be in this scene. And I think that we are standing over a robot who is just like so tired, right? They're in whatever method or whatever way you choose, they are just an exhausted robot, and they're not talking to us. They're kind of like a NPC in this scene. But I think that we are all looking at them, and I think that I turn to Rob Otto and say, you said all diagnostics have shown that although this friend, this liver, is functioning, they appear to be unable to perform tasks.
It is like he is charged and also not charged.
And
I'm
like looking at him. I'm kind of just like, yes, this will make an excellent piece of art, charged but uncharged.
I have never seen a being that is both charged and uncharged. It is curious. Perhaps they should find, I have seen something that may help. There was a machine. It is of the humans. It is called a snack machine. I think if you take it for a walk, you will be rejuvenated.
Well, I have nothing else left to try.
Just to clarify, are we taking him for a walk, or are we taking the snack machine you saw for a walk?
Both. This being needs to laugh, to feel contentment. I feel that the snack will help. This machine says you can become strong if you snack.
Then let us snack.
We are a snack. That one was for you, chat. I think that is a good spot to leave that scene.
That is.
We ramble off into the woods with our snack machine and our friend, our liver.
We're just like carrying him along. Come on, buddy. Let's get you a snack.
Yeah. I'm visualizing us putting like a vending machine on wheels and just traveling around with it.
Yeah.
That's what's happening in my head. So let us define abracadabra, and then we will move to John's turn for H2. So who has an idea for abracadabra?
Perhaps it could be our term for like a really fortuitous event, like the humans use the word to indicate magic. So like a because we're robots. Obviously, we don't believe in things like miracles or religion. We believe in rational things like magic.
Sure.
And perhaps it will be to a serendipitous event, something.
Is this a noun or? Oh, we have 2 more donations. We're going to be making lots of words, y'all. So abracadabra is a fortuitous event.
Yeah.
So because you came up with the definition, John, who would you like to see in your scene? We have 2 more coming after, so pace yourself.
How about with Dr. Rob Otto? It's a Dr. Robotnik.
That's a different robot entirely.
Those are the bad robots.
Okay, so where are you?
I like to think that I am on a hill overlooking a one of the fields that we use for growing the crops, and it has been it's just very lush. It's a greater yield than we expected.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just kind of like painting the scene. Well, this puts us ahead of our goals for the season.
There are many crops, more than expected, which is good.
Yeah, after the lack of rain, I didn't think we'd manage to make our goal, let alone surpass it. This is, I it's like magic.
Magic.
Yeah, magic. It's something the humans used to believe in. They would pull quarters out of each other's noses as a form of greeting and say something like abracadabra to celebrate their new financial windfall.
Yes, I remember now.
Yes.
So this is like our windfall.
Yeah. Abracadabra, I guess.
Abracadabra, indeed.
Well, that's an end to a scene if I've ever heard one. Excellent. So we have abracadabra has been added to our lexicon. Thank you for that donation, Alex. We also have 2 donations from Ben. And Ben would like us to define 2 words, but the first is going to be fluffy. So how would we like to define fluffy? My first instinct is that because these animals have evolved, that either they are like fluff has become a functional item, so it's like fashion, or it is rare, right? I suppose it could be both.
Like I'm picturing like these evolved animals are like much sleeker, much sharper, to help them hunt us better. So seeing something fluffy is it's a rarity. It's perhaps maybe like a sign that something is still relatively safe.
Fluffy, a sign of safety,
and
perhaps comfort. And comfort.
Okay.
I'm going to nominate Chelsea for this theme because I feel like it's a good healer word to.
Yeah.
Who would you like in this scene with you, Chelsea?
Ooh. I think Van Gogh.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be a good scene. So let's have us just walking through, you know, an area of our encampment, kind of surveying what's going on around us.
Okay.
Things have been calm lately.
Yeah, there haven't really been any attacks recently. It's getting to be a rare sight these days, especially with the Hork running around. Haven't heard the ominous clop of his hooves.
It is nice to not fear danger.
It is, you know. I remember before when this all really started. The wildlife was completely different. It was less sharp.
Soft to touch.
It was.
Not that I can feel soft with my metal hands,
Yeah.
but this is what I hear the humans said.
We weren't programmed for like a sense of touch or anything. I guess that was out of the budget.
Yeah.
But you know, it these days you see an animal and it's you're automatically on guard because it's just
it's not fluffy.
Yeah.
They used to be fluffy.
They used to be fluffy, yeah. Safer. We didn't worry about being dismantled by squirrels back then.
No. They were fluffy at times.
Yeah. If they were still fluffy, maybe Gary would still be around.
Oh, Gary.
Poor Gary.
I told him it would not end well.
No. Maybe if things were still fluffy, things wouldn't be so hard.
No. Don't like. If things were fluffy, we would not have. Maybe we would not have the Hawk. And I'm like, Roboto's like just making sure that the Hawk is not nearby.
I have the stream open, so I know that the Hork is close. It's closer than we think.
Oh
no!
Ridiculous. Now there are two of them.
I'm sorry, I want to give a shout out to the person in chat who has just arrived and was like, I've missed a lot. You certainly have.
Yeah, this is a game that, without the context, just makes us look like we're total buffoons.
Listen, all you need to know is that there's a Hork now, and it is danger to our robot friends. Our donated word, our last of the 3 donated words that we just got is sunshine. And I am sort of torn on this because on the one hand, I can see sunshine being like, we're solar powered, right? So this is the source of our life. But I also kind of wonder if it at one point had represented an obligation to do work, right? The sun is out, so you have to work.
Yeah.
The sun's awake, so I'm...
Exactly. So I wonder if it is actually, I guess the flip side of that would be, because we're so often getting power during the day, perhaps day is when we rest, right? To recharge. So perhaps sunshine is a reason for rest.
Okay, so maybe it could be like referred to a term of rest.
A term of rest, yes. So the sunshine
Gonna go take a sunshine.
Yeah, a period of rest. And in this scene, I think I want to establish what, like, for lack of a better term, what a sleepover looks like for robots. So I think everyone should be here for this.
Okay.
Yes, I love it.
Fair.
And I think it's all just us on our little charging unit pads or whatever, and we're just kind of like waiting. It looks like a waiting room.
Yeah.
If a hork was to fight an owl, who would win?
Well, I mean, the hork is the hork, but the owls can shoot feathers. I mean, that's pretty dangerous. So,
There is the venom. The venom.
The venom, yeah. But I mean, do we even know if the hork is susceptible to venom? I mean, what do we actually hork?
We should make a study of the hork. Perhaps after my sunshine, I will go and ask our scientists if such a study may be done. Hopefully, they will not be eaten by the hork.
Can the hawk, if it is fighting the owl, can it jump? Or would the owl just be safe above?
Well,
I have read of this. It is in one of the human books. I was reading a book about a thing called television, where they say that a television show jumped the shark. Perhaps the hork was part of this.
That does. And I mean, we've all seen the wreckage of TVs. With those little legs, they couldn't have jumped very high. So I'd imagine the hork couldn't get very high if a TV could jump over a shark. So I think the owl's best bet would be perhaps to dive bomb the hork from safety.
And from behind, hawk does not have much neck.
No, it really doesn't.
I think the plot raises their hand and says, "You have an excellent point." Point. This has been a most agreeable way to spend the sunshine.
Yes, I agree.
I think this will serve as my next masterpiece. The owl versus the hork.
If a cow can jump over the moon, as in the legends, then surely this is true.
Surely this is true.
And I think that's a good spot to end.
Yeah.
Thank you for those donations to Trans Lifeline, which is an amazing cause. We are raising money all weekend. And we're doing great so far. There are so many really fun games happening this week. This weekend is what I mean. But I keep going to the stream chat and I keep seeing that first image and it's incredible.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Chelsea.
That's okay. I'm here to please.
Thank you to our producer for this magic.
This abracadabra.
This abracadabra. Let us go to. Oh, there's a giant owl in the corner now. Great, we love to see it.
No.
Fight now, fight. Okay. So let us go to John, where we will get our final word for H2, and then we will transition into H3.
Like the screen is just being overtaken by animals.
It's beautiful.
That's right.
It's amazing.
The stream has gone beast mode. Oh, right. I need to come up with a word now, don't I?
You sure do.
All right. So, I was thinking, you mentioned like relating to consumption earlier, because the Hork and its new animal minions are devouring us, and also the Hork is eating our crops like a jerk. And this is like an escalation, so it's very dire. So I was thinking DireCon, like a dire consumption.
DireCon, which sounds like a convention name to me. Tell me that someone wouldn't call their convention
DireCon, where everyone's just dressed up as a different plague victim.
Dire consumption. So what would define dire? Like, how extreme does it have to be dire in this world? What is the definition of too much?
Like large swaths of agricultural land, or entire teams of our robot buddies just wiped out. Like, this is big.
Okay. All right. Excellent. And who would you like for the scene?
I think this might be something to bring to the healer of the group, just having witnessed one of these, perhaps. And I'm just struggling to process it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in the I guess I keep picturing it like a medic's tent, but that, I don't know, like it'd be more like a small hut or something, I guess, probably.
Yeah.
And so I'm just in the middle of explaining what I've seen. It was there were parts everywhere, and it was carnage. It was this just total consumption of everything. It was.
This sounds bad.
It was pretty dire. I don't know how they missed me. They tore through the fields. Just everyone wiped out. Just
you are quite small. Maybe they just did not see you.
Small. Okay, I'll run with it. Maybe. The owl just sailed right over my head, so thank God I'm small. But the robot behind me was not so lucky.
I'm sorry you had to see this.
It was just a total. It was. I'd heard about events like this happening, dire consumptions like this, that just a swallowing tide. I'd seen posters for movies for entertainment for the humans of hordes of other humans consuming each other, and this was almost like that. Just a tide.
Humans were strange.
Yeah.
Humans were strange.
Yeah.
This does not sound entertaining.
Who knows what was going through their heads? I mean, look what they left us with.
Yes, this is true.
But
this did you say it was a DireCon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only way I can explain just the devastation.
Maybe we should keep a record of these things.
Yes.
look for patterns.
Yeah, that seems like. Yeah.
Okay, and I think you need a snack.
I think I need a snack.
Yes, a big snack.
Big snack. Where's the snack machine?
That way.
All right. Come on, let's go.
And you go off on your snack.
I go off on my snack.
You go off on your snack. Lovely. I say lovely. It was a horrifying concept, but a very sweet. So
Thanks, Doc.
we can find beauty in these things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is going to happen now is we are going to enter stage 3.
End game.
And what happens in stage 3 is what has been foreshadowed has come to pass. The end of the isolation is near and there is no escaping it. More of them, they fell from the sky one by one before they outnumbered us. Interfacing is still clunky, but it's unquestionable at this point. Our missions are fundamentally incompatible, and now they are making it impossible for us to satisfy our programming. What drastic action must we undertake?
I'm just terrified of the idea of being overrun by hawks.
Yes, we've created this nightmare now.
The galloping hordes of.
I'm so sorry, everyone.
I am so sorry for what we have done.
Here's a question. What does a hork sound like?
I don't know that I want to know the answer to that question.
No,
It just
Like-
yells its name out like a Pokemon. Hork.
Yes.
Well, I think also to consider the fact that these are robots and they can probably hear frequencies and things that would not necessarily be detectable to human ears. Like, do sharks have? I don't know enough about sharks. Do sharks have language? Right? Like, do they make sound?
Bless you. That's a good question. And I mean, these were they're not organic, they're not man-made, so they were constructed. So would a creator ostensibly give them something that could identify them with? Would that be like a psychological thing? Would that be a? I feel like we're getting off topic, but I this is important.
Yes,
I need to know. I need answers.
We need to know. Well, we need to know how it changes one of our aspects, right? That's what the big thing is to kick off age 3.
Yeah.
So, is it? And this is a question, not like a declaration. Is it that our main mission becomes protection from these things? Is it that the Horks are a faction? Is it that we embrace the Horks? Is it that we find common ground? Is it that we understand what war is?
And you've got that Gam faction too that might try to seek to make peace and understanding and potentially abandon of the goal, our goal. So it doesn't necessarily need to result in our destruction, but
well, and does that faction grow? Is I guess the real thing.
When the alternative is being devoured by the horde, do you join in with them?
Yeah, I imagine the Gam would get bigger.
So the Gam gets bigger, and what does I'm going to read our aspects again, and we're going to see what we think alters about these. So the aspects that we have are the long-term reclamation project of the Earth, which is what our original programming was. Our second aspect is that we have embraced caring about each other, community, empathy, and making social connections. Our third aspect, which is the one that changed for our last age, is that we are at an agricultural center with evolved wildlife that provides danger, and the addition of the hork altered that the crops are being consumed and the Hork is helping the wildlife become more aware and threatening and potentially organized. So what do we think is the main change with the arrival of, I mean, it says many, but I think that anywhere from 10 to infinite Horks would feel like many.
Yeah. So perhaps the stress of the of these attacks, in addition to growing the Gamban faction, perhaps has caused some of us to kind of reject humanity, just to kind of mentally like wall ourselves off from each other, because the robot you're making friends with could be eaten tomorrow, or you don't know if they're with this other faction, they might betray you. So perhaps it is some of us begin to reject our humanity as a way of protecting ourselves.
Okay, so the danger has made us reluctant to embrace our humanity and instead makes us reject it. Makes us reject it.
We're getting real here. We're getting real here with the robots.
We're real. We're so real. Okay, so I'm going to draw cards for people. So let's start with... Where's my guy? Okay, 2, which is Chelsea. So, your 2 options are a label. Using this word has become a badge we wear. Is it a point of pride or something we are trying to hide? So you play it on a previously defined word and explain why using it now labels us. Your other option is survival. Using this word dims our chance for survival. Using it has dire consequences. So play on a previously defined word, explain why using it makes survival difficult. So Chelsea, those are your 2 options. John, yours are taboo. What was previously a common word is now only uttered in hushed tones or euphemism. You play it on a previously defined word and explain why this word is now taboo.
Okay.
And your other option is decree. Some words are best left unspoken, whether it be from authority or within an expectation has been forged. Pick a previously defined word, explain why the decree was made to abandon it. You actually have 2 similar ones, so if you want, I can draw you another card.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine. It just so happened you ended up with 2 that have similar qualities. Okay, so your other option now, so I'm going to keep taboo. And then symbol of hope. We see a beam of hope. When things are most dire, we turn to this.
Okay. I think I can work with that.
And my 2 cards. Once again, I am using the card deck, which is beautiful. A promise. Exchanging words is a bond to have and to hold. The act of saying these words carries intention and consequence. A special kind of promise made in the isolation. What is the promise and what is the phrase we say to give it? And then my other option is a new source. Out of the blue, we hear a word, our word, said by someone we did not expect. Pick a previously defined word. Explain how a group that previously did not use this word has begun using it. This group may be either internal or external to the isolation. So those are our options. I am to review, we are now in stage 3, having had more Horks arrive. And we are going to each play one of our cards, and we will add to our lexicon. Does anybody have an idea for one of their cards, or I can go first? That's totally fine also. I'm going to say I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay. A new source. Out of the blue, we hear a word said by someone we did not expect. I think we hear one of the animals talk. And I think that I think the word that they use is sunshine. I think that one of our robots comes across an animal that is injured or resting. And there's kind of a moment where they're not really sure whether there's going to be some kind of skirmish or danger. But in a plea for kind of peace, the animal says the word sunshine. And it's rough, and it's not the way that we would say it, but it is distinct. And I think the scene that is going to happen as a result of this is I'm going to do something that I don't know if it's technically within the rules of the game, but I'm in charge, so haha.
Aha.
DM
fiat.
I think I'm going to have Chelsea and John in the scene. I don't even know if I need to be there. I guess I could be there. I guess it could be everyone. Because I think that technically within the rules, you have to be in the scene of the word that you define. But, sure, well, I'll be there. I think that this is the conversation after this has happened and we've heard the report and the animal has been brought back to us and is in our camp. And I think that the plot turns to Rob Otto, and says, I am unsure about the wisdom of this. Generally, I do not concern myself with wisdom, but this seems dangerous.
Yes. I am fearful of this change.
Perhaps, though, it means something more. Perhaps this is our chance. This is our lifeline. This is unprecedented. If we could communicate with them, this could change everything.
They may not eat us.
Even the humans could communicate, and they still fought much bloodshed. I do not mean to be a Debbie Downer, but I am concerned. However, I do enjoy this creature's spikes. They are very fun.
Would you say the spikes are fluffy?
I would say the spikes are very fluffy. It is abracadabra of a kind to see a creature like this in our camp. I did not think it would ever happen. I do admit, although I am concerned, that I do like how upset the Gam Gam is about this development.
Yes.
I do not have a word for this.
Well, we can't just make words up, obviously. That's ridiculous.
That would be absurd.
Absurd. This isn't a game. This is real life.
Rob Otto, do you trust this creature?
I mean, it has not tried to bite me, so I say, yes, I do.
I'm recording this in my memory banks to work on a new piece, perhaps to commemorate a turning point.
It is an important milestone. Rob Otto, I hope you do not get eaten.
Me too.
And I think that's a good spot to leave that scene. We have voiced our concerns.
Rob is 3 days away from retirement.
So that is the change to sunshine as a definition. Before we move to our next turn, a reminder that we are raising money for Trans Lifeline, and for $20, you can add a word to our lexicon. There are all kinds of links in the chat, and your donations, there is a breakdown of the impact that your donations have. So $25 connects one trans person to the hotline, $77 funds the hotline for 1 hour, and $120 provides peer support to one person to change their identity. And the average legal fee to update an ID is $455. So we are hoping to raise some money to help some people today. So let us move into another turn. Who would like to go next?
Oh, yes. I had an idea. I had a thing.
Okay.
Also, I was just to clarify, I was saying it's absurd that it costs that much to change your ID. Like,
yes, absolutely. That is an absurd amount of money. No, agreed, for sure.
It's one of those things that makes it harder for people in more dire financial straits to be themselves.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry for the tangent.
No, you're fine.
So I was thinking to go. My second card was a symbol of hope, I believe, and yes. I was thinking of attaching that to the word to liver, because in these trying times, you know, having someone who you rely on, someone who is you know, someone who you can still feel like you can still embrace those emotions with, kind of serves as a bulwark against despair and giving in to abandoning what some might see as a better way of being themselves.
Yeah.
You know, perhaps, you know, we extend that we can extend that to any other creatures we have made peaceful contact with. And
yeah.
I
like that. I like expanding that definition to include other creatures, because I imagine, and I guess we can decide this as a group, but I imagine that there are a mixture of feelings within the sentient animals as well, right? About what they want with us. So there are some that intend peace. So who would you like in this scene?
Let's go with the plot.
Yes, that's me. Sorry, I am not used to responding to that name. Absolutely.
Would you say you had lost the plot?
I had, in fact, lost the plot. So where are we?
Okay, so we are. Let's say we're at one of, like, I guess where I'm storing my studio, for lack of a better term, where I store the works of art that I have painted. Mm-hmm. And I'm showing off the work in progress, which is the plot and Rob kind of making contact with the creature. And I wanted to show it off to you first before I kind of showed it to everyone. Look, I know that your jokes don't always land because humor is subjective, but if it weren't for you, I think I might have given up on all of this. And I wanted you to be the first person to see this. And I just...
It is. And I think that I just look at it and I say, truly, it is fluffy. It makes me feel proud to be your liver. I am impressed. I, however, do not understand why you say that my jokes do not land. They always land. Always. They are planted to the ground. So landed. I particularly like the way you painted my head.
I was trying a new shading technique, and you know, the trapezoid shape of your head was just...
It is extremely effective.
Trying to think.
Where do you intend to display this artwork?
I was thinking over by one of the charging ports, so that everyone could reflect on the growth we have made with the wildlife.
I like this depiction of our new liver. They are more peaceful than I anticipated.
They are hope for the future.
Indeed, they are hope. And I think that scene ends with us just quietly looking at the art.
Yeah.
It's so lovely and wholesome.
I'm sorry?
I said that was really wholesome.
Yes, we're so wholesome. We have to make up for the monster that we've created.
Yeah.
The godless abomination, a shark with horse legs.
Yeah, exactly.
The Lovecraftian.
We are filled with danger. So let us go to Chelsea for your third age word.
Yes, well, I've gone for the label, so a badge we wear either out of pride or because we have something to hide.
Mm-hmm.
I quite like the idea of, obviously we were saying that some of the robots are reluctant to embrace their humanity now, and I kind of thought not necessarily a badge you would use yourself, but I thought it would probably not be... people wouldn't like you having livers because that's very human. So I thought that, like, I came up with, well, and liver is like server. So I was thinking you could refer to someone as a bulb, as a way of being like, oh, you know, look at that light server over there, what a bulb.
So bulb has a negative connotation here.
Yes, yeah.
So
what a pair of bulbs.
So is the idea here that they're embracing their humanity too much?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, that they've gone too far.
Their humanity.
I wonder if they don't like the fact that we are trying to make peace with the animals, bringing them into that concept of livers. They're perhaps very against that.
Against expansion of term. Okay, I like that. because it provides a kind of alternative too, which I think. I mean, we use sarcasm a lot in all kinds of languages, but I think that turning that into like using a positive term as an insult is a storied tradition. So I like that. Who would you like in the scene?
Let's have all of us back in our hawk hiding shed.
The hawk shed. I know it well.
The hawk
Horse
shed.
shelter.
All right.
Did you hear Barry called Susan? He said she is too nice to other things. He says she should not have livers.
Wait. What do you mean? Like, if it weren't for you guys, I don't think we would still be here. That's the only thing that's kept us going through all of this.
He says it is too human.
We have found many things that the humans abandoned. They have become ours. However, there is, some say, people are bulbs. It is unkind to say so. However, they believe one should be without livers. Sounds unpleasant.
Yes. Well, this is a fluffy space where you can have livers.
You know, it strikes me as almost humanly ironic. They employ sarcasm as an insult to twist a positive word into a negative, and it's very telling, I think. Perhaps there's more human in them than they wish to admit.
Maybe nobody wants to be there liver, and so they are sad and being unkind.
I wonder if those who do not wish livers will one day leave. I think this would be dangerous. Perhaps our lives would be more difficult with such things.
Yes.
It is odd to feel our purpose change.
Is that
What happens if it disappears?
we would just...
If what disappears?
Sorry.
The hork?
No. Our purpose.
And I look over at the plot and I say, we would just be. That's called a callback.
It
folks.
It is somehow unsettling to think so. And I think that's just like a silent ending.
Like fade to black.
Just like discomfort.
Yeah.
So that concludes our stage 3. And with that, we move in dialect to the epilogue, or the legacy, which is the epilogue. We are entering the legacy, the last moments, or the aftermath. Our programmed mission is now obsolete. Do we fight on without end, or do our routines for self-preservation take over? Some consider things that are unthinkable. Do we join them and abandon our defining task? Can we? The way that this works is you will get one card. This card has 3 options on it, which I will read to you. And that is how you will narrate your epilogue. So the way that this is a little bit different is we're not going to have scenes. You're going to just tell us how it relates to your character, but also to the isolation as a whole. So there may be change narrated here. And that is great. And part of the tagline for Dialect is, this is a game about language and how it dies. And death is not always an end of all things. Sometimes it is a transition. Sometimes it is a new beginning. Sometimes it is a death. But we will be picking from our legacy cards. So I'm going to have, let's see. Chelsea, I'm going to tell me when to stop, and I will pick the card that is on top for you.
Okay. Stop.
Okay. Choose one of these for your final narrated epilogue. It may be about your character or the isolation as a whole, and your story. Something the outsiders stand to learn, or saying goodbye to what was once normal, or a moment of deja vu. And I can repeat those for you if you would like.
Yes, please.
Okay, so the first is something the outsiders stand to learn. Second is saying goodbye to what was once normal. And the third is a moment of deja vu. All right, John, tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Okay. It is the same prompt, end your story. What can be learned from the rubble and the ruin, or tensions between you and the outsiders, or a hard decision made in secret?
Ooh.
And would you like me to repeat those for
First one
you?
for me real quick?
Yeah. What can be learned from the rubble and ruin?
Okay.
So those are your 3. Let me know if you'd like me to repeat any of them, and that goes for anybody. All right, mine are an assumption the outsiders make about you, or a feeling of relief in your new life, or the shame that comes with loss.
Ooh, got some good ones.
Yeah, these are fun. So while we take a moment to reflect on that, I'm going to once again point out that there will be games all day this weekend, or all weekend, I guess, all day today and tomorrow for me. But if you're in the future, it may be less. So please tune in. I know I will be playing with Chelsea in a game of OK Cryptid later today, which will be a great time. I know
Lovely
that
Mothman.
there are a lot of games happening. It's very exciting. And we will hear more about that at the end. Is anyone ready to go for your epilogue?
I think I'll go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I just describe how.
Yeah. What is the new state of your character or the isolation related to that prompt?
I think that given the growing tensions in the camp between those who are rejecting humanity and those who want to try and make peace, even with the support of his livers, Van Gogh decides in kind of makes a decision on his own to leave the isolation, to see what else is out there, to see if there's anything really to give him new purpose. To see new sights for his art, to try and embrace his humanity in a very personal way, to try and discover his own purpose on his own. And so one night he just goes.
And is this something where you're gone forever, or do you report back? Do you send? I mean, there's no postal system, so I guess it sort of depends.
So I think I just go. I don't think he comes back. But he does leave the completed portrait by the charging station of the meeting.
Yeah, I love that. As like a mural. That's awesome. Thank you. Chelsea, do you want to go next, or do you want me to go next?
I can go next. So Roboto, he's looking around and seeing all these things that are going on. There's infighting, the crops are failing because they're being eaten, and we can't keep up with the demand that we need more food. We can't produce it. And one afternoon, it just hits Roboto that we've done what the humans have done. We were sent here to reclaim this planet after the humans had destroyed it, and were warring and fighting amongst themselves. And then it's just, we've done the same thing. And it's this real moment of fear and concern that comes over Roboto. And I guess a sense of despair and hopelessness that, we're just going to we live in a loop. It doesn't matter whether we're humans or robots or animals. We live in a loop, and eventually things are going to go very, very wrong.
Who will reclaim the reclaimers?
The Hawks.
All right.
The Hawks are invincible.
The Hawks will take care of it. Do not fear. That's our next game of Dialect. We play only Hawks. Only Horks is the name of my new website, by the way. Only Horks. All Horks all the time. Thank you, Chelsea. So with that despair, I will feed into so I was sort of debating back and forth, but I want to create balance in the universe, as in all things. So I'm going to pick a feeling of relief in the new life. And I think part of the group after Van Gogh leaves is splintered slightly, because there are the people who are Team Hork. There are people who are disappointed with what has happened. There are people who are understanding that things are cyclical. And I think that the plot stays close to the painting, because I think the painting is important to them, but also lives partially in the forest with the animals that are friendly, and begins to sort of coexist, because I think that those of us who go into the forest, or whatever area it is where they live, the mountains, I don't know, they understand that we are stronger as a group, and as one group splinters, I think they seek out another group for livers, but also for safety, for fluff.
Yeah.
For fluff. And I think their reaction to all of this tension is to kind of say, okay, I'll go find a new group. And I think that it is thus that the language splinters.
Yeah.
And it is an inevitability, perhaps, but it is also for many a new beginning. as all things do eventually become. And I think that one of the interesting things about cyclical elements is that some recognize it, some don't, and some escape it. And that is okay. So, with that, we are going to conclude our game. We will be pulling our giveaway winners very soon. Please submit your entries for the giveaway if you have not done so already. It is a very cool charity that we are supporting, and we have managed to raise, let me check the exact number, it is $1,105 so far, which is an awesome amount of money, and I think we can do more before the weekend is out. My goodness,
Definitely.
I am extremely able to talk.
We spent a whole 3 hours talking about words. Now words are hard.
Well, birds and, quarks. So I want to thank our wonderful players for being here today. I want to shout out Trans Lifeline, who are an excellent cause that we will continue to be raising money for throughout the week. Please make sure to enter your entries in the giveaway. Oh, they're closed. Never mind. I'm a liar. I'm a liar, and no good can come from me. Yes, as the chat has pointed out, only Horks is legally distinct from all other only channels.
That's right.
It's very important that we point that out. I want to highlight this game, which is Dialect. It is by Thorny Games, and it is an extremely cool and versatile system. I know that they have. The way that I first came across this was in a podcast who was playing it as a world building exercise for their larger campaign, and it was extremely fun. Shout out the winners. Okay, I don't know who has won what, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 winners, including me.
Oh wait,
and
we're
congratulations
ourselves. Oh.
Yes, we were.
Okay.
That was in the chat, but sorry about that.
Okay, I feel a little bit better. Alex was actually in the other room listening to this, so I would have been like,
So there you go.
Like, okay, if she won, maybe don't count that, but.
No, shout out to all of our winners. You should email D8Dungeon@gmail.com to claim your prize. So make sure you copy paste that, which I'm gonna do right now because otherwise I will forget. But thank you all for playing. We're gonna go around. We are going to highlight who we are and where you can find us, and then we're gonna shout out our wonderful games for the rest of the day. You can find the schedule in the chat. Shout out to, I assume, Alex, who was just like, John, I like to win things. Cool. Hork supremacy, indeed. So let us start with Chelsea. Who are you, and where can we find you on the internet?
Yeah, I'm Chelsea, so you can find me Instagram and Twitter at Chelsea May Ha, so Chelsea May HA, and also on Instagram at Crafted Bear Creations, where I do nerdy sewing things. Currently designing some D20 Christmas ornaments.
I'll definitely have to check that out.
That is awesome. I am very excited to check that out. Let us go to John.
Hi, I'm John March. I don't really have any pluggables to plug. I'm not really connected to the internet. On a very rare occasion, I do stream on my Twitch channel, which is just March Victorious. But no, I don't. I don't have anything to plug. I'm not a very exciting person, but I'm glad I got to
That's
be. I
not
had a great
true.
time.
Oh, it was very exciting having you here. We want to give a shout out to our friends who could not make it for the stream today. I hope that all is well with you. Safety and comfort and technological issues are the most important things to deal with.
Yes.
My name is Jilly. You can find me at Oh Look It's Jilly most places on the internet. Later today, I will be playing OK Cryptid on this very channel with Chelsea and with our illustrious producer Amber. Also today, later today, you can find me on Nerds with Dice playing Masks. Masks the Puzzle Project is, I believe, the full title. We will be playing that at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And I'm revisiting a character who was one of my first TTRPG characters that I ever created. So it's going to be really exciting to have some superhero fun. But you can find me most places under that name and hear me talk about dialects, theater, and various TTRPG projects that I overschedule sometimes on a single day. Who knew? Exactly. So I would like to give a final shout out to the rest of the games that are happening today. I do not have the thing in front of me for what is next. What's next?
But they are happening. They are happening. They're real.
We have at 6:30 Central European time, I think, we have the Best Horrific Hotel Lubri. And then we have OK Cryptid and more throughout the weekend. So please tune in for that and keep donating. We will be having lots more stuff today. On that note, I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to say I hope you have a wonderful day and enjoy the rest of our charity marathon. Bye everybody.
Bye.